I'm Anne Duk Hee Jordan. I'm an artist living here in Berlin, and don't you be confused about how I look into the camera, because I'm recording now via the iPad and somehow the camera is on the side, but maybe I'm confused how I look at it. Anyhow, this is not what I wanted to talk about. It's talking about embodiment. But I rather want to talk about disembodiment and what it means, and the narration and the turnaround of disgust and the effect of it, and of repulsive colonial trade and deconstruction of a narration, and there are many things to talk. So recently I got invited into a institution, and this institution has a lot of old art which they don't belong to this country, and it was forced taken, and there's a lot of discussions and really bad things and really very sad stories behind certain art objects which are hidden and closed up. And there's also a really big boat which they brought before, and then they started building the institution around. Anyhow, yeah, so they asked me to do something for this year's festival, and in the first place I said no, and I don't want to take part on that, because this is not my story and this is not where I want to be involved, and personally it's not my political, and it's not my at all what I believe in. So this invitation was highly difficult for me, and in the second round of thinking of not taking part, I thought, okay, maybe there are other ways of like putting my foot inside this place, but not putting my foot in it. So because it was outside in the courtyard, and this is not the point. It's also my point is that I was pretty disgusted by the idea of like putting me and my person inside this institution. But then I thought also, maybe there are other ways of how one can deal with it, and there should be other ways of demonstration, and other ways to have a meaning and to say something, and other ways of like maybe to turn around the disgust, because without disgust, people are like, it's run and flight modus. No, you are warned. It's like being in disgust is like a highly bodily effect on everything, on your psyche, on your body, on your nerves. So if you're disgusted, you can have really heavy reactions. One pukes, one like falls unconscious, the other one runs away, I don't know. And for me, I was so disgusted that I thought, okay, maybe I can find a way of dealing with the situation, and putting my word, putting my sense into it. And the more creepier the institution gets, the more or the topic, the more funnier my work becomes. And then I thought, okay, how can I deal with it? Let's reenact all the work I did in 2012. It's called Disembodiment. This is basically my own butt, where a potato plant grows in and out, and in the back you hear the humming of Ella Fitzgerald's song, Let's Call the Whole World Off. So, okay, I started like thinking of, I will put a potato kiosk, so a kiosk where you can purchase all kind of different potatoes, like hard, middle, soft potatoes. There are postcards of collages I made with stories of the potato, where it comes from. And on the side of the kiosk there is a flat screen. It's pretty big, and there the first thing is when the visitors come in, you see the screen with the video work, Disembodiment, and the first reaction of the people are, they're really shocked and they're disgusted by this body part they see of my butt, which I don't understand at all, because it's really nice butt. And it's also just a plant, so it's something very natural. No? Everyone has a plant, everyone has a butt. It's just the combination which might be weird. No? So anyhow, and then I thought, okay, let's make it more. What can I do more? Okay, let's print the butt 33 times, and I did it. So I made this 3D model of my own butt, and this is where basically the potato grows out, and I placed it in front of the kiosk as a alley, a little bit like little soldiers, and you can basically walk along this alley towards the kiosk, where the postcards are and the potatoes are. But people are in the first place too shocked to even reach the kiosk, which is a shame, because the postcards are really nice and there's a really good information about the history of the potato and the colonial history, and they're even like too shocked that they even can't reach this point. So I don't know, next time I have to think it a little bit more further. But it's funny how people are so easily disgusted and confused by just these two combination, butt and plant. So Culo de Papa also is Spanish, refers to Columbus and what was before the egg or Columbus, the pea or the tomato. We don't know. Probably potato at all, but Culo de Papa means potato butt or potato ass, and it does investigates the origin of the potato plant, which brought to Europe, and it symbolizes the diasporic effect of the native spice during the colonial exploitation. While nowadays those stories are mostly overlooked, and we neglect those connections of the forgotten histories, especially of the potato, because everyone thinks like, I don't know, not everyone thinks the potato is like something German, but they already get so compared by potato and German, which I don't understand. The Russians are those who basically use the most potatoes. Then India comes, then China comes, then Korea comes, and Germany is quite on the last place of this steps, who produces and who eats the most potatoes. Yeah, but the earlier work, Disembodiment, where the forebear appears as this stop motion video, um, embodies not only like the symbol of a wide range fruit and also the ritual as food and traditions. It's also like it's a complex feeling of not belonging to one nation, especially in my point, because I never felt like I belong here, nor I belong to Korea, nor do I belong there. And so I felt already very connected to, that's my story, personal story, felt very connected to the potato. And this is why I started to work with the potatoes already quite a long time. So I took the potato apart in many things. I started making this watering machine where I connected potatoes and wired them together, and then the potatoes produced electricity, and the electricity gave the potatoes gave the electricity to the machine, and the machine basically watered the potato cuttings on the soil. And then I took the little plants out, I put it into another installation, and then I thought, okay, maybe I do something funny, Frankenstein like, and I will make my own potato. Trying to infuse the potato with my own DNA. I started like taking blood out of my veins every day. So I felt like a vampire on potato, and I gave the potato cuttings my blood, but not through a needle. I just like dropped the blood into the soil, and this was like, instead of giving them water, I gave them my blood. And yeah, and then the potatoes grew big and healthy, and then I made another version of it. It's called My German Heart, where I spray painted the potato, let it dry, and it's in a vitrine, and it looks like a dried heart, but it's a potato heart. So this was like all, like it's a little bit of a side note of the story of the potatoes. So you see, I already investigated the potatoes in many other levels. Yeah, so what I want to say in a short notice, the potato is not native to Germany. And the potato is a nightshade plant and comes from the Incas. And the Spanish conquest today, the Spanish, what's the name? Conquistador, or I can't, sorry, you know what I mean. It's a complex word, I cannot pronounce it, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, they came and introduced the potato to Europe in the second half of the 16th century, and then in Prussia, King Friedrich II took the potato and introduced it to the folk, no? And then and they were not so very amused about it, and they thought it's disgusting. Here we come again with disgusting. It's not like something you can eat. And then he forced them to eat the potato, and this was how it was introduced. And also, like, it became a crop which was very vulnerable to disease. That means in 1845, I think it was 1845, when the potato pest started, appeared in Ireland, and the Irish folk was like it led to great hunger in Ireland, and the population got reduced. A million died of the famine, and up to 2 million immigrated to the US. This means, like, you see what hunger does, what potato does. I mean, not the potato in a sense, but what this, yeah, relation and networks which we are built on, what it leads to, no? I mean, if Columbus weren't there, maybe someone else would come. For sure, someone else. So we leave that out, sorry. The work explores the metabolic process of how potato plant was embodied and disembodied throughout history, and played a major role in important demographic and ecological exchange waves, also called the Columbian Exchange, which was widespread of transfer of plants and animals and cultures and humans and populations, technology and diseases. And the idea between America, Europe, and West Africa in the 15th and 16th centuries. So you see, everything is very, very much related. And then we come back in the 21st century, and you go to Berlin and you enter the courtyard of the Schlüterhof, and then you are back where we started. Thank you.